So when you hear audio extender, it sounds simple. Just send sound far away. Yet once you look closer, things change. Are you using HDMI ARC? Optical? Do you need analog output? Well, today we are comparing the OREI DA-EX1000K and the ARC-EX300-K, and they are not interchangeable. One is built for high-resolution digital over very long runs. The other keeps HDMI ARC and TV control intact. So let's see which one fits your world. What problem are you solving? So before we even touch the hardware, we need to ask one simple question. Where is your audio coming from, and where does it need to go? If you are pulling audio from a TV ARC port and you want it back to an AVR or soundbar in another room, the ARC-Extender EX300K is built for that. However, if you are working with optical or coax S PDIF from a media player, mixer, or older TV, and you want very long distance with analog output option, then the digital audio extender, EX1000K, starts to make more sense. And that difference changes everything else. Now when you hold both units, they feel very similar in terms of quality. Both use metal enclosures. That matters because long cable runs can introduce noise, and a metal housing helps reduce interference. It also handles heat better. The digital audio extender feels compact and dense, around 64 by 69 by 24 millimeters for the casing and about 400 grams for the pair. It has ventilation slots on the sides and mounting points underneath. So if you want to tuck it behind a rack or mount it under a table, you can. The ARC extender is slimmer, around 90 by 72 by 20 millimeters per unit and lighter at about 175 grams each. It feels more like a modern HDMI accessory, so behind a TV or inside a media cabinet, it hides easily. And honestly, in daily use, both feel solid. No loose ports, no flex, they feel like install and forget type devices. Now this is where things really separate. On the digital audio extender transmitter, you get optical toslink input and coax SPDIF input, then one RJ45 out. On the receiver, you get RJ45 in, then optical out, coax out, and also a 3.5mm analog stereo output. That analog jack is important because the receiver has a built-in DAC, so you can take digital audio in, send it over Cat5e or Cat6, then convert it to analog at the far end. And there is a small switch that lets you choose digital or analog output. That is very practical if your remote amp only has RCA or 3.5mm input. Also, this model supports bidirectional power over cable, so you only plug power into one side, usually the receiver. Then it feeds the transmitter over the same Cat cable. That keeps wiring clean. Now compare that with the ARC extender. On the transmitter, you get HDMI ARC input, optical SPDIF input, one Cat out, and a micro USB power port. On the receiver, you get Cat in, optical out, HDMI ARC out, and its own micro USB power. So here, both ends need power, no power over cable. It is not a big deal, yet it is one more adapter to plan for. However, the HDMI ARC support changes how you use it. You connect your TV ARC port to the transmitter. Then at the remote end, you connect HDMI to your AVR or soundbar, and you keep ARC functionality. That includes CEC pass-through when in ARC mode, so your TV remote can still control volume on the AVR. That is huge in a living room setup. So here's how it feels to install each. With the digital audio extender, you run one Cat5e or Cat6 cable. Plug digital source into transmitter, plug Cat between them, power one side. Flip the output switch if you need analog. Wait a second for sync. Done. It feels clean. especially with power over cable, because you reduce extra wiring near the source device. With the ARC extender, you connect HDMI ARC from TV to transmitter. Connect Cat6 between rooms. Connect HDMI from receiver to AVR. Then, power both units. Set ARC mode on the switch. Wait for the TV to renegotiate ARC. And then audio routes back. It is simple, yet ARC always depends on proper HDMI settings. So you need to enable ARC and CEC on the TV and AVR. Once that is set, it works as expected. Now let's talk numbers, because distance is the reason you buy these. The digital audio extender can go up to 300 meters at 48 kilohertz. That is about 990 feet. At 96 kilohertz, it drops to 150 meters. At 192 kilohertz, about 100 meters. So if you need to send high-resolution 24-bit 192 kilohertz audio across a building, you still get around 330 feet. That is impressive for pure digital audio over Cat cable. It supports sample rates from 32 kilohertz up to 192 kilohertz with LPCM, DTS, Dolby Digital, and Dolby Digital Plus. In real listening, audio feels stable, no pops. No dropouts during our testing on longer runs around 60 to 70 meters. Now the ARC extender is rated for 150 meters at 96 kilohertz for ARC audio, and about 90 meters at 192 kilohertz. For SPDIF, it can go 150 meters at 96 kilohertz. So distance is shorter than the digital audio extender. However, for most homes, 150 meters is already more than enough. In practice, ARC audio over Cat6 feels stable. The handshake takes a second when you power on. Then, it locks in. Once connected, audio delay is not noticeable, and CEC control works when everything is set correctly in ARC mode. So now we circle back to the original question. If your system is modern and you rely on HDMI ARC from your TV, and you want to keep remote control volume working, the ARC extender ARC-EX300-K is built for you. It keeps the HDMI ecosystem intact. It is clean for home theater. However, if you need extreme distance, up to 300 meters at lower sample rates, or you want analog output at the far end, or you are working in commercial AV with mixers, older amps, or multi-room audio distribution, the DA-EX1000K digital audio extender gives you more flexibility. The built-in DAC alone can save you an extra box. So both are very focused tools. Neither replaces the other. It depends on your source, your cable path, and the format you need. So think about your ports first. Then think about your distance. After that, the choice becomes clear. That was all. Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you found it helpful, give it a like and subscribe for more videos.